Hello and welcome to Election Brief. And coming up today, as presidential and parliamentary aspirants race against time to beat the deadline for filing their nominations, the NPP raises red flags with demands by the EC for applicants to declare their assets first. We'll hear from them and get some clarification from the Electoral Commission. Endorsement by chiefs of political party flag bearers continues as one of them hits the campaign trail in the Bono Ahafo region, but this time they're not endorsing the NDC or MPP flag bearer. We'll tell you who it is this time around. Meanwhile, a Central Regional Chief comes to the defense of the MPP flag bearer over criticisms by his opponents that his age and health make him unfit for the presidency. All this and more coming up in the next 20 minutes. Stay with us. Hello, I'm Arba Kumsin. Welcome once again to the program. It's 69 days to the December 7 general elections, and a lot is happening with regards to the electoral processes that must be conducted before election day. One of the crucial exercises is the filing of nominations where presidential and parliamentary applicants will submit their nomination forms to pave the way for them to officially contest. As you may know, the Electoral Commission set a deadline for the filing of nominations on the 29th and 30th of this month. So presidential and parliamentary aspirants are racing against time to beat the deadline. However, the opposition MPP raised red flags with what they said were late notifications by the EC for applicants to declare their assets first. Earlier today, Acting General Secretary of the party, John Bwedu, and some party executives marched to the offices of the Electoral Commission to seek clarification over the EC's demand they say would create a challenge.
Yes, it is an eligibility criteria, but it hasn't been that people who are filing must do so before they file, especially when they are not members of parliament. Members of parliament, when they go to parliament, do so. And when they are exiting parliament or their term of office ends, also file indicating or updating their asset position, but not new entrants. Coupled with the fact that this statement came just yesterday, people had prepared to file tomorrow or tomorrow next. Some might have traveled, some are at remote areas of our country that within just one day, getting forms from the Auditor General to fill and file is a bit difficult. If even this statement had come a week earlier, it wouldn't have been a problem because whatever it is, it will be done. That's why I wanted clarification from the Electoral Commission. That's why I'm here. From the discussion I had with them, they think that it must be read in much the same way tax clearance is done, that you must declare your tax, or you must have your tax clearance certificate, or make an arrangement in getting your tax clearance certificate. And I think it is if it is in the same way that it should be read, then it is correct. But I think that the Electoral Commission should clarify the position. I think that it's important that we don't create needless apprehension amongst the populace or the voting populace. And I think that it is important that timing of release of statements must consider the practicality of some of the issues being raised. In my view, I think the Electoral Commission needs to do more because
So that's John Bwedu, Acting General Secretary of the MPP. But the Commission explains that it is working within the law as the requirement is contained in the new CI 94. However, they have urged applicants to begin the process of declaring their assets.
Their concerns was basically on the asset declaration bit, of our statement that we sent to the media and to the political parties yesterday to remind them as to the requirement, for filling the nomination form. So they didn't understand that portion. So they came to find out exactly what we meant by that particular provision of asset declaration.
And by that particular part of the reminder, what did it mean? Because the NPP has raised concerns that it means they may have to declare their assets as a requirement before successfully passing through as candidates, whether parliamentary or presidential. They have raised concerns about the processes that one will have to go through to declare your assets to satisfy this requirement.
It's a requirement in law that the Electoral Commission was just reminding them that they should take note so that they would make the appropriate arrangements to meet that requirement. It doesn't mean that when they submit their nominations, they should come along with that requirement, because it's a statutory declaration that they are going to declare that they have paid their taxes, they have met that particular requirement. So the Commission was just reminding them to take note when they go into the process of filling their nomination forms, because we don't want a situation where they would bring their forms, then they will not meet the requirement of law, and the application would be rejected. They didn't fully understand. It's a legitimate concern. We are even happy that at least they didn't, sit back. They came to the Commission to find out exactly what that statement meant, and it was clarified by the Deputy Chairperson in charge of corporate services.
Okay. So as it stands now, has it been clarified, and are they saying they are satisfied and are ready to go ahead with their submission?
Yes, by the explanation that the Deputy Chairperson in charge of corporate services gave specifically to Mr. John Boedu. At the end, he was satisfied and said that he's okay with the explanation.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
She's Gina Watts.
Everyone believes that the EC is acting lawfully. Private legal practitioner Samson Ladi Ayenini says the Commission is acting outside of the Constitution. On his Facebook wall, he wrote, "It would have been good to legislate constitutionally the demand the EC is reportedly making as prerequisite of filing of nominations of MP aspirants." But how did the EC get it so very wrong? It cannot require and refuse the application of any aspirant for non-declaration of assets to it. The Constitution requires 1. Public officers to, quote, declare such to the Auditor General and not the EC. 2. Asset declaration is not part of the qualification criteria for would-be MPs. 3. The EC can only require proof of fulfillment of tax obligations. Might take until I have become aware of the constitutional basis for the asset declaration demanded by the Electoral Commission. And that's from private legal practitioner Samson Ladi Ayenini. Now, speaking of the Electoral Commission and legal matters, the EC is expected to file their response to a suit against them by the Progressive People's Party over the fees set by the Commission for presidential and parliamentary hopefuls. The party describes the fees as arbitrary, capricious, and unreasonable, is seeking the court to give an order directed at the defendants to desist from collecting and or receiving the said deposits or fees for the conduct of the 2016 presidential and parliamentary elections until the appropriate statutory instruments have been passed in accordance with the appropriate legal rights. Let's get some more details on this. Kofi Asamoah-Siao is a policy advisor of the party. He joins us on the line. Good afternoon to you.
Yes, good afternoon.
So tell us, what's the status of this case? The EC was expected to respond to it. Have they?
Yes, the information that we are picking from our lawyers is that the EC has entered appearance. What we don't know is whether they filed a statement of defense. We got to know of this information because we haven't heard from the EC and the court had not fixed a date for hearing, we were going to have our case injured if we didn't file an injunction application. So I can confirm to you now that our lawyers have filed an injunction application on the acceptance of deposit or filing fees by the Electoral Commission tomorrow. And if the lawyers of the EC, I have been made to understand, Stadia Sorry chambers, they will be served in any moment from now in their offices in this Legon. So that is what we have come to know as we speak, because they are the lawyers who entered appearance on behalf of the Electoral Commission. So, yes, we have filed an injunction, and we think that it is proper for the Electoral Commission to wait until the matter is disposed of and addressed by the court before any parliamentary candidate or presidential candidate will be obliged or required to pay any filing fees so determined by the court. But we are confident in the case that we have filed that there is no legal basis for the Electoral Commission to charge any amount that it wants to charge, because we are of the opinion that the monies that are to be charged must come in under a certain regulation, stipulated and not made it arbitrary and capricious, especially in this particular matter where the EC has increased the fee by 1,000%.
Don't you think that this will unduly affect the Electoral Commission's calendar, seeing as, already it suffered several setbacks?
Not at all. I think that the EC should be aware, or is aware, that any action it takes as far as its calendar is concerned must be in conformity with the law. And I'm also sure that they have put their lawyers on alert that if any legal issues arose, they will be able to respond to it quickly. We are happy that the EC was able to enter its appearance within the stipulated number of days that was required. The deadline was yesterday, Tuesday, and they managed to do so. So, yes, what they need to do is to activate their legal processes and their legal team to engage the court and us and see how quickly we can remove this legal tussle from the way so that the EC can proceed. In any case, we are not restraining the EC from the acceptance of the nomination forms. So the nomination can go ahead. This money is the deposit. It is not required to make the filing of the candidature of anybody complete. It can be set aside and the normal things can go on. When the court says we should pay, we go and pay. When the court says we shouldn't pay, then we will not pay. That will not in any way frustrate or disturb the calendar of the Electoral Commission at all.
All right, thank you very much. That's policy advisor of the Progressive People's Party, Kofi Asamoah Siao there. And speaking of the PPP, it appears the party's message may be getting to some traditional chiefs who have gone out of their way to endorse them. The Adontin-Hene and acting president of the Sampa Traditional Council in the Bono Ahafo region, Nana Kwejo Masa, has called on Ghanaians to also try the PPP flag bearer, Dr. Papa Kwesi Indum, in the December polls. According to him, Ghanaians have had a taste of what the NDC and the MPP have had to offer, and it's only proper to give the PPP flag bearer the chance to prove his worth. The Adontin-Hene made the call when Dr. Indum and his entourage paid a courtesy call on the chiefs and people of Sampa.
Nana Chiame Eddie Kain Esrebi. Nana Num dear said ya Wakano, Ghana, Mra, Edibu, or manager say active politics, me yet. And so Nana no I dream the politics Bressoir. Nana no I was Sampa, dear Nana Num de two, Yamrantier, Yamayua, you will be Biara, said your dawn, Namayu Kubiano, Kenina, Emfa or Dog. Enya politics no na yentimi enya asundwa e wo Ghana no yentimi enya sa asundwe no mani na o da ye edi hobium sebi ya ye ni afika kra no ye hu amambu a yebu no sam Ghana Ghana o he politics ya ye ya party akesie mienu ye to ya ye ntu biom Yamra Doctor Party and a tossum yensa. Anka Nananum Binumu I been say, Sebi Din Katiquine, adi abenkwan ka yenhwe na yenso nkwan fufuro enhwe na yema ye papa doctor party imra na enunso yenhwe se bi nyuma a woye no Ghana ye nitua na yankasa so yenhwe ono se de odi Ghana beko no na yenyina hu mse nananum ni tintin bi aka de meka twato ni se ye pasunwe ewo ye mamu ye pasunwe wo jamando ye pasunwe wo samba nti yenye ye politics no wo asunwe kwan.
So that is Adonson Hene, an acting president of the Sampa Traditional Council in the Bono Ahafo region. And essentially what he's saying is that people have tried the NDC, they've also tried the MPP. It's time to perhaps give Dr. Papakwesi Indu a chance. So let's get on the line and speak to our regional correspondent, Precious Semovo, who is monitoring the PPP Flag Bearers campaign. He joins us on the line now. Precious, I must say, this is the first time we are actually hearing a chief endorsing, if you like, a flag bearer who is not NDC or MPP. So beyond just asking his people to give Dr. Indum a chance, did the chief say why he should be voted for?
Well, the chief specifically did not say beyond what we have already claimed, than to say that we know what the NDC are capable of doing. We've seen what the NDC also did during their tenure of office. And it is only fair and proper that we give another party the opportunity. And he specifically made mention of Dr. Papakwesi Indu at the palace in German. And I think that is the clamor call as we witness at the chief's palace, because after saying that, it was received with lots of applause of the citizens at the chief's palace. And as we move from Sampa in the German North constituency, we move down to Nkwasu Jafekrom, where the flag bearer of PPP, Dr. Papakwesi Indu, also paid a courtesy call on the Omanhene of Nkwasu Jafekrom traditional area. And he made similar promises. That is Papakwesi Indu. He categorically said that considering his own resources that he's been able to use to build this business empire that he is supervising, what can we imagine that he will do if Ghana is entrusted to his hands? He's saying that considering the resources that we have as a country and what we've been able to achieve so far does not make it successful. And he believes that he has what it takes to turn around the fortune of Ghana. Now the chief himself, that is Okatechie Amwa Eturo Nkonkonchia II, the Omanhene of Nkwasu Jafekrom traditional area, also said it is a responsibility of political parties to educate their party members to know that it is practicing democracy, and as such, it is the sharing of ideas and views, and that should not degenerate into violence and then trouble and making it. Also appeal to Dr. Papakwesi Indu, if God permits and he becomes the president of Ghana, we should not forget the bad road that connects the two to German North and South. He says that they have contributed to the development of Ghana with respect to cashew, with respect to cocoa, and then timber. But what they have by way of roads and other infrastructure does not befit them. And he is pleading that if God permits and he gets to the Flagstaff House, we should not forget them, but remember and then improve their laws in Ghana North and South.
Thank you very much. That's Bono Ahafo Regional Correspondent Precious Semovo with that update there. So that's the chief's endorsement of the PPP flag bearer a sign? Is it a sign that the party is warming itself into the hearts and minds of the people? And what implications, if any, will it have for the party's electoral fortunes? My colleague Malik Dabo joins me in the studio for some quick analysis on this. Malik, it's quite interesting, isn't it, that, you know, for the first time, a chief is not endorsing either a flag bearer of the NDC or the MPP. And we've heard, you know, comments like a vote for the PPP or Dr. Papakwesi Indum would be a wasted vote. So really, what's the significance of this chief endorsing Dr. Papakwesi Indum?
Well, first of all, but let me talk about your bees first. They look very pretty.
Thank you.
You know, these endorsements, there are legal questions about them, but that's not the discussion now, because the Constitution forbids any active party politics for chiefs, and that Article 276 says if a chief wants to contest elections or if a chief wants to endorse or do the kinds of things that they are doing things that demonstrate that you are in active politics, party politics, then you have to abdicate your seat or skin, as the case may be. But
people have put their own interpretations on what is active party politics.
Absolutely.
But we can get that.
Absolutely. So let's leave the legal question.
Okay.
What's the significance of this? For Ndum, the point he will be seeking to make is, look, there are those who believe that we can do it. And you pointed out, one of the things that have dogged his campaign is the vote for him not a waste, really. Because if you look at his own history, when he was flag bearer of the Convention People's Party in the 2008 election, he had 112,000 votes, just a little over 112,000 votes. When he left that party and formed the PPP in the 2012 election, he had a little more than just half of that vote. He had 64,000 votes. That indicates that, which was just 0.58% of the total votes cast, which is insignificant, really. Many people believe that he's a man who can do the job. Do sufficient number of Ghanaians believe that if you vote for him, he can win? Not very many. So whilst this endorsement may come, it will be difficult for him to sufficiently fight that view that, look, if you vote for him, well, he's a good man. We have seen the things that he can do. He's demonstrated.
So it would be wrong for people to assume that we can now begin to look at him and his party as a third option.
It's a tough call. I mean, of course, he's done well because in the 2008 election, when he led the CPP, he was third in the pecking order. It was the NDC, MPP, and he was a distant third, really insignificant third, but he was third nonetheless. When he formed the PPP, he still was third, with less than 1% of the vote, 0.58% of the vote, he still was third. So in that pecking order, you may say he's fourth, third. But what is the significance? Because the numbers are so insignificant. 64,000 votes out of 5 million for the MPP, 5 million for 5 million, 5+ million for the NDC. When you are getting 64,000, less than 100,000, that's quite insignificant. So
it's too soon
it may just be for propaganda value that he can say, well, I also have some chiefs endorsing me. If chiefs are endorsing Muhammad and Anado, me to have chiefs endorsing me.
Well, we'll have to wait and see,
won't we?
It remains to be seen. But thank you so much. That's my colleague Malik Dabu there. Let's go back to the campaign trail because the MPP running mate, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, is continuing his tour of the Central Region. Yesterday, when he met chiefs and people of Enyam Abasa, one of the chiefs there came to the defense of the MPP flag bearer over criticisms by his opponents that his age and health make him unfit for the presidency. Watch.
Multi-party, Hunzi, and that Aqua, and on master. On a multi-party home.
It just takes a day for a master and his servant to be one. Ghana is a country that everyone will love to be in, not to take much of your time. Everyone has a particular party he or she would love to vote for. So on the day of election, I plead on the NPP to give respect and pray for the Electoral Commission and its board members to make great decisions for this year's election. Again, we all should pray for all security personnel in the country to make this year's election a successful one.
And apologies for that sound, but I'm sure we'll bring you that particular sound of the chief, rising to the defense of the MPP flag bearer in our subsequent bulletin. But that's all for Election Brief for today. The show is available on YouTube if you missed the live broadcast. I'm Arba Kumsin. Join us same time tomorrow, but don't go away because Francis Aban is up next with The Pulse.